is 8:12 and I'm just gonna do like some really last minute interview prep before I jump in. So I'm about to go to my final interview today. I'm quite excited, a little bit nervous, so wish me luck. Boop. I have a new job! Hi friends, welcome or welcome back. This is Sakura, and the last few months have been a little bit of a whirlwind and definitely a lot of ups and downs in terms of how I felt and why I took the actions that I did to get to where I am now, which is, as you just saw, officially finally closing the layoff chapter of my life. And I know that a lot of people are still going through layoffs, and I still see waves of companies doing that almost on a weekly basis. So again, just closing up my layoff diaries here to let you know that you're not alone, and also to see one person's kind of journey through it all and where they've landed. So that first month, honestly, even after that first day, I was feeling a lot of calm and peace, and I was quite happy. Not because I was laid off, but because of being able to wake up the next day and thinking to myself, I can literally do anything that I want. I had kind of been mentally prepared for this to happen because I had seen what had been going on in the industry, and I knew that I was not immune to it. I had been saving up as much as I could ever since I started working 7 years ago, so I had always been kind of lucky to have enough savings and be financially stable to know that here comes a rainy day, such as a layoff, which I never was expecting actually, that I would be fine. And if you don't already know, I don't know if I mentioned this explicitly, but our company, which is based in America, decided to completely shut down operations in Japan, which means that not only was I laid off, but the entire company in Japan stopped operating, so everybody was laid off. So what this meant to me was that there was literally nothing that I could have done to save my job, and that gave me a sense of calm and a sense of closure that I'm not sure if other people feel. I just saw this as one of those things that probably had to happen at least one time or another in my life, and I said, okay, let's just deal with it, let's just make the best of it essentially. And I saw this kind of as an opportunity for me to potentially look at and work on my content creation really 100%, whether it's my YouTube or my podcast. I had been wanting to take a vacation for a long time, so I definitely thought, okay, this is the time to relax. And I knew that I was very action oriented, so I wanted to hold off on making any big decisions before calming down and really reassessing what it is that I want to do next. So then came month 2 or phase 2, and let me tell you, it was a 180 degrees experience in what I was feeling in month 1. So I think if I were to kind of wrap up and summarize what I was feeling in one idea, it's the fact that I had so much guilt around not working and being unemployed. Again, I want to emphasize that because I was luckily financially stable from my savings, I also had a few months of severance that luckily covers, at least 3 months. I thought that I would just mentally be okay with the fact that I was taking time off, but I think in retrospect, I should have known myself better, because just the fact that I was losing money every single day and not making any was a constant anxiety that I have not ever obviously felt before because I'd never been laid off, and I didn't know that it would weigh so heavily on how I felt to my day-to-day. The other thing was that, I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but I never intended or want to be a full-time content creator. I did see in the first month that this was an opportunity for me to really give it my all and just see where it takes off. But I think one of the joys of content creation when you have a full-time job is that it's your other thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, this is not my job, this is my fun thing. So when I was faced with the fact of I have to do this, of I have to create, I have to keep going, I could work all day. I worked like 8 hours every day into social media, and I realized that I was quickly burning out. And I also realized that, again, this is just not what I ever wanted to do full time. If I could just give one piece of advice to if you've been laid off, it's that you're gonna feel a lot of ups and downs. I'm sure of it. You're gonna have days where you feel elated that you have time, and if you're financially stable, that you can take a vacation, or you can take care of the family that you haven't seen for a while, and you can pivot into something else. And you're also gonna feel the lows of the anxiety of feeling unemployed probably, And if you're thinking, if you're in doubt about if you're going to be able to get another job in this current market, or if you have visa, issues with your work, every day it's just going to be a lot of different thoughts in your head. And if you're someone who documents their journey online, which I did, which I know is like obviously on me, which is totally fine, but there's going to be a lot of miserable people trying to tell you that you should be miserable too, or that you're being this way or that, or you're being dramatic and all this stuff. But essentially what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a lot of noise of other people trying to tell you how you should feel and what you should do, but only you know what you should do and what you want to feel. So just a little piece of advice. So 2 months passed throughout those ups and downs, but at the forefront of my mind, to be honest, at that time is taking a sabbatical. The reason being that I thought, when is the next opportunity I'm ever going to get in my life to be able to take time off like this? Having at this stage in my life, married with no children, currently financially stable, with all the opportunity in the world to do whatever I want, I thought this is the time. This is absolutely the time for me to do that. But honestly, throughout those 2 months, I didn't do any job hunting. I did have a few conversations here and there with recruiters, but nothing really sparked my joy until I got one email. I was approached by a recruiter who was working for a company that is based in the US that was still a little bit of a startup and smaller in Japan that was looking to expand to grow. So already that was interesting for me, because at my previous job, it was the same exact situation where you had the stability and the resources of having been part of a bigger company, but in my particular market, it was still small and they were looking to scale. So that's already something that I'm really interested in. Second, the job scope was perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean, this is exactly what I wanted to do. So essentially it was a blended role, a very unique, first of the market, by the way. Again, another interesting thing for me. First in Japan market to do a blended role between learning and development. So looking over everything, learning and development end to end, collaborating with global stakeholders to bring things to Japan and also build things from local ground up, that I have been doing at my previous job, which I really enjoyed, right? And I wanted to continue growing in because my time was cut short at 1 year. And then the other blended part is looking over more like talent management and employee experience. So building a career framework for folks, coaching managers to help them, manage their employees better. Those parts particularly is something of like a more senior level that I usually see in big companies that you don't necessarily get to do in a learning and development role. But this just happened to be one blended role, and I thought, okay, this is definitely a job that I am interested in. So even though I was pretty close-minded and had kind of a decision already made that I was going to take time off, I didn't say no to having a conversation with the hiring manager, which is what I ended up doing, because you just never know, right? Like, you just want to open yourself up to the opportunity. And what was basically the game changer was having that conversation with her. Honestly, this is my manager now, she's really amazing. I mean, she's brilliant, and I just thought that being able to work with her, even that alone, was something that was really exciting for me. And then, of course, I went through the interview loop. Again, during this whole time, telling myself that I'll just go through the interview loop. I probably won't take the job. I am very, very interested in this job, but I was telling myself that maybe it's not the best time to just jump into something again. I always just think that you just know when you know. I knew that if I took this role, I wouldn't regret it because of the potential professional growth that I would have. And then kind of justifying that decision too, I'm still pretty early on in my career. I mean, I've been working for nearly 7 years, and that's a very short amount of time to be an expert at anything, especially, for example, learning development that I just started 1.5 years ago. I just thought there's so much more that I could learn in a professional environment that I wouldn't have able to get the opportunity otherwise. And because I'm also focusing on content creation based on my career, I thought, yeah, I mean, if I could get a job that I love to continue making content about it, like, that's also great too. So what I ended up doing is only honestly applying actively to that one job. I did send out my resume like here and there, and I did talk to, again, like 1 or 2 recruiters before. Nothing that was really, really serious about, but this was the one job that I was like, it's either this job or no job. If I get this job, then that was the right one. If it wasn't meant to be anyway, and I'm gonna take my time off that I told myself to. But I got the offer, even though I only officially applied to one company, which is kind of crazy at this market. I was lucky to be able to like do a little sniper shot to get that one and done. But I know right now the market is not currently operating that way, that you might not be as lucky as me. So even during like salary negotiations, it's always good to have another offer. But I thought the pros and cons weighing it, spending so much time and effort into job hunting, making sure I have like options, versus knowing this is exactly what I would want in a job anyway, and really just putting all my eggs in one basket and hoping it works out, because I didn't have anything to lose other than if I don't get the job, I'll take a sabbatical. This is the route that I went. So now I started my job in the beginning of May. It's been almost a month. It's actually kind of crazy that I went that fast. It's been really great so far, and I know that I'm gonna learn so much from what I'm doing right now, and I'm really glad that I took this decision, even though for most people that is like the normal thing to do. For me, it was the opposite of what I was intending to do. So my key takeaway from all of this essentially is that when you're going through a transitional time or a forced opportunity of time to think about these things, take the time to reprioritize and repivot and think about what it is you want. Let yourself feel all these different feelings to help you figure out what it is you truly want, and then align it to the opportunity that not only is in the top of your mind, but also be open to other opportunities that could even be better than what you imagined. I know a layoff is not easy by any means. I was just one of the lucky ones to have come through it pretty much unscathed, but I know that's not the case for everyone, and that's actually why I try to make more helpful videos on job hunting like these, to make sure that I help folks like that too. But just know that if you're going through this, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be fine. But I highly recommend just always taking the time to get to know yourself during these things so that you can land yourself in the thing that you really want to do next and help you grow. So what's next? I'll probably be making more content about L&D because I'm becoming increasingly passionate about my field that I am currently in, and I'm just excited to see where things take me next. And if you want to see any specific type of content, leave it down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you hopefully in my next video. See you, thank you, bye.